Hey YouTube, welcome to episode 14 of my investment journey series. This is the series where I take you guys through my investments as a complete beginner to the world of investing and stock markets and all that sort of thing. So if you've not seen any of my previous videos, my name's Ian and I've been investing since the beginning of April when the UK first went into lockdown, and I basically do a weekly review of my portfolio, see how things are looking, take you guys through it, talk a bit about each of my stocks and whatnot, and that's really it. It's just that, like I say, a weekly review. So let's go ahead, open up the Trading 212 app as I always do, and we'll have a look at what's been happening this past week. So I'll jump over to my portfolio section on the app as always, and actually, you know what? This week I'm going to start this off a little bit different, just to change things up a little bit. I'm going to show you guys the dividends that I've recently received because it's something I've not really spoke about too much in my past videos, and I actually want to cover that now. So over the past week, or say 10 days, I've actually received quite a number of dividends through my investments with Trading 212, and it's actually a much higher amount than I was expecting, to be honest, and I'm really chuffed with that. So if I take you into the history here and head over to the dividends tab, and we'll just cover the recent dividends I've received. So this is now the 5th of July, so I'll take us back here to, we'll say the 17th of June, and sorry, the 24th of June, we'll start with this one. So this was when I received my dividend from Shell, and that was a dividend, as you can see there, of £9.76, and that was for 77 shares that I owned with Shell. So that was a decent payment, or at least I thought it was a decent payment considering I've not been investing for that long. £9.76, so that's where it started on the 24th of June really. And 29th of June I received two dividends. I received my iShares Core FTSE 100, which was £11, which is again brilliant in my opinion, for 258 shares, and that was £11 as you can see. And then I also received on the 29th of June my S&P 500, iShares Core S&P 500, which was a dividend of £5.83, and that was for having 59 shares. And then looking at the 30th of June, so the following day, I received £3.50, which is for the Vanguard FTSE Emerging Markets ETF that I'm invested in. And as it shows at the bottom there, I've received total dividends of £42.74, which, like I say, I've been investing since the beginning of April. This is now the 5th of July. So we're talking May, June, July, and I've already received that in dividends. And it's important to note, I'm not what I would call a dividend investor. I'm investing, everything that I'm investing in, I'm going for growth. So I'm thinking 3 to 5 years at an absolute minimum, but ideally 5 to 10 years, if not 10 years plus. So it's not like I'm investing in the stocks I've picked for dividends. That's just, in my opinion, a really nice bonus, especially when you see them adding up like this. And it's just great to know that these things will come in regularly. And yes, there's been a lot of dividends getting cut and stuff lately and whatnot, and that's not great, obviously, but it's still positive when you see that and you see a figure like £42.74 just in investments I've been wanting to make anyway, and that's just a nice little return, a nice little bonus. At least that's how I view it. So yeah, I just wanted to cover that really because, like I say, I've not mentioned it much before. And with that out of the way, actually before I jump over to the investment screen again, if you can leave a comment below with your dividends in Trading 212 and what your best dividend stocks are. So I don't know if you're maybe investing for growth, like long term, or if you're investing purely to get the dividends. Let me know in the comments below and let me know what your plans are. Like I say, I'm more of a growth investor, and the dividends I view as just a nice bonus. I feel like I'm far too early in the stage of investing to think about dividends as being the main go-to thing. I really feel that would be much later down the line when I've got even more heavily invested in my investments and stocks and shares, all my ETFs. That's when the dividends will really pay a big figure out. And I'll look forward to a lot higher number than what I'm currently seeing here. But anyway, yeah, like I say, it's a good thing. But with that being said, let's jump back to my investments. So this past week, I don't think I actually did much. Again, you'll notice that if you've seen my last episode, I didn't really do any more investments, never bought into anything else. I've really just been watching how things are this past week and tracking if there's been any major changes, any big movers and whatnot. So as it shows, invested £5,612.37. It's currently showing a return in the green. Again, always a good thing, always something I'm happy to see, of £278.77. So we're up 4.97% overall on the portfolio. And the total value of the portfolio, as it shows, £5,891.14. And the ISA utilisation is still the same, nothing's changed there because I've not invested any more money, I've not put any more money into my Trading 212 account, so that's still sitting at 21%. And looking at, like I say, the past week, we are up, looking at the past week as it's showing, if I take us back here, we were at 4.32% up on the portfolio, and now we're at 4.96%, so it has climbed slightly. It's still, the main thing for me is it's still a green, it's still positive. I'm not really tracking all these slight fluctuations here and there, but it's still a positive thing. So I'll take you through my investments like I always do here, and we'll just have a quick look at what's really changed. So my American Airlines stock, again, my 2 free shares I've received here, that's currently showing a 1.13% increase on last week. So £4.96 up, so 32.93% up on the portfolio for this investment. These were my 2 free shares that I received. If you've not seen my previous videos, these were purely because people signed up through my referral links on Trading 212. They received a free share, I received these free shares. If you're interested in signing up to Trading 212, by the way, I will pin a comment in the YouTube video for this, and you can click on that, create yourself an account, and like I say, you'll receive a free share up to the value of £100 with Trading 212. So check that out if you're interested. Moving on to my next one here, again, Hive Group. This was one of my investments I took a complete gamble on, and it's kind of been up and down. It dropped drastically from last week, so the markets opened on the Monday and it just plummeted down, and it doesn't look like it's really recovered from then. Dropped again even further midweek and continued to do so. So we're actually down 8.05% from last week, which is really not good to see. But again, it's a gamble stock. I've not got a lot invested there. Hopefully I'll just hold on until it kind of goes into the green again, into the positives, and then I'll maybe look sell out of that or whatnot. The FTSE 100, again, this is one of my biggest ones, and this is what just recently paid that dividends I was just talking about. And I've got £1,600.15 invested into there. That is currently, from last week, down 0.43%. So not a huge drop, but it is still down slightly. But overall, it's still in the green for me. Again, that's purely because I invested when it was at its lowest point pretty much back in the beginning of April. It was my first investment, and things were that's when all the news with coronavirus was coming out and everything. So I got in at a really good time, and I've just been continually adding to that since. So again, long-term hold for me, that one. Like that ETF, definitely a one I'm happy to have in my portfolio. S&P 500, my 60 units I've got in this ETF. From last week, it's up 1.93%. Looking green still. Showing a return there, £110.63. Up 7.99% overall since I've been investing in this ETF. That's another big positive. The Nasdaq 100, this has moved quite considerably since I invested here. So from last week, we're actually up 2.9%. But if I take us down and have a look at when I first bought into this, because I'm forgetting myself, 2nd of June, you can see. So 2nd of June, I bought 1 unit in this Nasdaq 100 ETF. The reason I only bought 1 unit is because it is so expensive. I bought in about £432 for a share, and it's now sitting at 467. So it's increased 34.89 since I bought in there. It's one I really want to add to in the future. I'd like to grow this, but because of the price and how expensive it is to get in there, it'll take some time to do so. But we're up, it's growing, it's continued to climb since, and I'm happy with that one. Definitely one I'd recommend you guys look into if you're interested in technology investments and that sort of sector, because that is a big ETF for holding technology companies. You've got your likes of Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, etc. So check that one out if you're interested. Coming down to the S&P 500 healthcare ETF I've got here. This was one I invested into purely because I wanted to diversify my portfolio a little bit more. Instead of just being invested in the top 500 companies in the US and the top 100 companies in the UK with the FTSE 100 and the S&P 500, I also wanted to kind of be more invested into the healthcare sector in the S&P 500, so specifically the healthcare sector, and that is because everything with the pandemic and all these companies, healthcare companies, looking towards a cure, a vaccine, and so on for the pandemic we're going through. So I bought into there, 25 units. I've not actually added any more to this since. Looking from last week, it's climbed considerably. So 3.88% increase from last week. So last week we're way down here, and then we've climbed up to here, so that's good to see. And overall, it's still showing a minus £3.33, minus 3.34 return for me, but I'm hopeful, holding on to long term, that'll steadily climb, and I'll look to add more into that eventually. Legal and General Group, this has been a good one again for dividends, and one I plan to hold for a long time. From last week, it's 0.09% increase, so again, not massive amounts, but it's been pretty volatile, up and down, up and down. And I've got a return there at the moment of £19.12, so 6.47% up on the portfolio for this investment. So that's going to be another long-term hold for me. MGM Resorts, previous videos, if you've watched, you'll know this was another gamble pretty much. And it's not really working out yet, as it's showing minus £22.19 for me. I've got my 5 shares there, which is equaling a value of £67.54, and it's actually down 24.73% since I invested into this. So I don't know if it's a case of me starting to look to average down this, or maybe just hold on and give it time for when things do come back up. But yeah, at the moment, return minus £22.17. From last week though, it's climbed, which is good, 7.32%. So I'm happy with that. It looked like it had a really big drop at the start of the week, and it did recover on the Tuesday. Sorry, not the Tuesday, when the markets opened on the Monday. It climbed considerably. Because it's a US stock, I'm actually invested in this on the US markets. So this isn't actually the London Stock Exchange I'm invested through here. And that is why it's still kind of chopping and changing. As you can see there, it's invested through the NYSE. That's the market. So it's going off the US times. But yeah, from last week, it's climbed 7.32%. So I'm chuffed with that. Hopefully it'll continue to do so. Or, like I say, I'll look into averaging down. Next one here, National Grid. That was free shares once again. 3 free shares from you lovely people signing up through my referral links. Referral links in the comments and the description of every video. So thanks again to you all for that. And that is currently showing minus 4.22% from last week. Looks like it plummeted considerably here, something I've only just realised. Like I say, I don't check these stocks every day because that would just be a bit excessive in my opinion. These are ones I've really bought into and I just want to hold. I don't want to be the sort of person to open it up every few hours and check and see what's going on, because I don't really see the point. So I'm just seeing these for the first time as I do my review videos mainly. But yeah, it looks like on Wednesday, just before the markets closed in the UK, it dropped considerably. I'm not too sure why that is. I'm not really going to delve into the stocks this week like I did last week, but I might look into what's caused this to plummet so considerably. And from last week, we're actually down 4.22% here. So yeah, there must have been something happened. If you guys know what happened to cause the National Grid stock to plummet so much at this point here, let me know in the comments section below. I'd be interested to know. And if you have any National Grid investments, again, leave a comment, let me know. Next one here, Royal Dutch Shell. Again, one of my biggest investments. I've got £956.42 invested into here, which is equal to 78 shares. So 77 of the shares I bought myself, or I think it was 76, sorry, and I think I've received 2 free shares from you guys, referral links again. And from last week, it's 2.89% down. So another one that's kind of dropped, but it's looking like it's been pretty volatile. And hopefully it does continue to climb again soon. But again, if you've watched any previous videos of mine, you'll know this is a long-term hold for me once again. So I'm not worried about this at all. But from overall, this investment is down 37.44 £37 for me, £37.44. And not obviously great to see, but again, long-term hold, and hopefully things will improve in the future. I'm confident they will. Under Armour, another free share from you lovely people on YouTube, signing up through my links. This one looks like it's up 5.16% from last week, which is good news. I'm just presuming that's because a lot of the shops and stuff are starting to open again, and people are starting to go back out and shopping. So maybe they've seen a little boost in their sales and stuff, and that's kind of gave them this increase from the last week, and that's why they're up 5.16%. But I've only got one share here, again my free share, so overall since I received that it's actually 0.51 pence down, so 6.23% decrease since I received it in the investment as a whole. Not really looking to add to that myself. Again, I'll keep that as a free share, and maybe when these pie features in Trading 212 become fully released and are officially released, I will look to maybe move some of the free shares I've received into its own pie and just leave them and see what happens over the long term. But yeah, for now I'm not looking to do much with that. The Laddus, next one here, not looking good at all. Previous videos, once again, if you guys know, complete gamble. Purely bought into this because it was so cheap. Not something I recommend. Not looking great from last week. They're down again a further 5.93%. So I'm really not confident in this, but I didn't put a lot of money into this at all. 26 shares I've got, which is equal to £13.56. Current return is down 30.95, £30.95, which is actually a decrease of 69.53% for this investment. So yeah, really not good. It's not looking good for them at all, but it was a gamble one. It was kind of a little bit of, like I say, fun money. Doesn't sound like sort of thing you want to say with investments, but it was such a small amount. They were so cheap, I thought, why not? You know, it's not like I'm doing lottery tickets or scratch cards like I maybe used to way in the past. And I thought I'll just kind of bump a few quid on that, see what happens. Obviously it's not working out, but that's just how these things go. But not a huge detriment to me at the moment. We will leave that for the time being and see what happens in the future. And coming down again finally to the Vanguard FTSE Emerging Markets. This one's actually been a real mover this week, as you can see. I think this is the biggest mover this week. Let me just check. Next to American Airlines, but it's the biggest ETF mover. It's up 3.38% from last week, so not the biggest mover. I was reading that a little bit wrong, but they have climbed considerably. And started last week, say it was around the £43 mark. They're now up at about £45.30, so it's looking good. And I like this ETF. Again, it's going to be a long-term hold for me. I will add more to this in the future, very near future possibly, and look to increase my investment here. This is definitely more of a riskier investment, but I want to kind of keep my portfolio maybe 10 to 15% diversified overall by having the emerging markets as part of my investment portfolio, because I want to also be invested not just in the US markets and the UK markets, but the emerging markets of the world. So yeah, I'd recommend you guys check this ETF out if you're interested in getting into some of the other countries. Ticker symbol is VFEM, as it shows at the top. But anyway, this investment, I've got 16.5 units, currently showing a return of £86.30, so it's up 13.08% overall since I've been investing. And yeah, from last week it's up 3.38%, so that's good news. Again, if I'm just taking a guess here, I presume it's because places are starting to open a lot more. Maybe a lot of these countries are not being as badly affected right now by the whole pandemic, so maybe they're seeing a little bit of a surge again. But I've not really done much research this week on my investments, so I'd have to look into that a bit more, but that's just what I'm guessing at the moment. And we'll finish off again as usual by coming down to allocation view and just have a look over here. So portfolio overall is £5,891.14. That's my 13 investments. Still at the top is my FTSE 100, followed by S&P 500, and then we've got Shell, Vanguard FTSE Emerging Markets, the Nasdaq 100, Legal and General, the S&P 500 Healthcare Sector, MGM Resorts, National Grid, Hive Group, American Airlines, Laddus, and Under Armour. So that's how it's currently sitting. As you can see, not a huge change from last week, but we're still green, so it's still positive. and I'm really holding off again until I hear more news on just how things are kind of going in the world right now. And I'm not even looking to add any new investments this time. I just think I might increase the positions I've got. So I do want to add more into the S&P 500, the FTSE 100. I'll possibly add a little bit more there. And yeah, NASDAQ 100, I'd love to, but again, the price is just so expensive to get into. I might have to hold off a little bit longer. So yeah, that's how things are looking this week, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this review video. If you've not checked out some other videos, if this is your first time seeing my Trading 212 portfolio review, please check my channel, see some other things I've got going on. I've done a few videos on a lot of the features on Trading 212. Most recently, I did one on the new Pies feature called Auto Invest. So if you're wondering what the hell that's about, check that out. I did a detailed walkthrough of this feature and why I think it's going to be so great when it's officially released. So yeah, check that one out if you're interested. I'll put a link in the description below. You can also check from episode 1 of my investment journey series if you so wish. Again, links in the description of this video and you can watch your way through. And yeah, that's really about all for now. So yeah, if you enjoyed this sort of stuff, please give the video a like, please subscribe to the channel, and I will be back very soon with another video. I think in this following week I might do a sort of deeper delve into my investments and I'll actually do a bit more research on them. I've just not really had the time to do so this weekend and I have kind of been putting it off. I've got a few other video ideas in the pipeline, so to speak, so I'll be looking to do them through the course of this week. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys over there in the comment section, some other videos. But yeah, for now, that's all. Hope to see you in other ones and stay safe. Thanks.